Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Way Out of Here. Now, I wanted to make this episode a little bit more vulnerable and real because today is a really difficult day, and it has been for 14 years. And what The Way Out of Here really, what I'm hoping it represents is a concept of vulnerability and mirroring vulnerability. Meaning, when you open up, it helps others open up as well. And that, I believe, is the way out of here. And so, in the spirit of that, I just wanted to make a video about January 23rd and what that day has represented to me and why it's been such a huge part of my life for a really long time. January 23rd is the day that my entire friends and family lost somebody special. A buddy of mine, Kris Krodel, we all called him Crow. He was like the light of every room he walked into. He would just galvanize everybody. And he couldn't walk into a room without pretty much commanding everybody's attention, and it was sometimes intentional and sometimes it was just who he is. And it was, he was such a special dude, man. It was I cherish all the years I got to spend with him as a friend and as a brother. It was incredible. And I think that's what causes so much kind of pain and sorrow in these years that have gone by, is that I get flashes of who he would be and how amazing it would have been to have him around through all of the experiences that I've been through, and to know that, if he'd have been around for all the experiences that his mom and his sister went through, and the rest of our friend group, there's been so much. And I know that so much happens in 14 years. And even in my own life, my life is completely different since that day I got the news. And it changed my life, it really did. It set me on a completely different course. At the time that I found out about his death, I was knee deep in a 4-year university. I was going to classes and everything, and it changed my entire outlook about what it was I wanted to spend my time doing. It showed me how short and special this life is, because it can all be kind of taken away in a matter of seconds. And it all comes down to choices and decisions. And not every choice that I've ever made has been a good one. And yet, from that day on, it gave me this kind of introspection into the decisions that I make, and it completely altered how I viewed my life. And I owe that experience, that traumatic grief, that loss, to where I am today. And that's why I think I have such a struggle sometimes around his birthday and around the anniversary of his death, because there's a part of me that feels like if I embrace the good that came from it, that somehow that makes me glad that he's not here. And it couldn't be farther from the truth. And yet I am glad where I am. And I wouldn't have taken the paths that I took without that experience. And so it kind of shows me this duality of emotion, right? Where you can live in two places at the same time. I can live in this despair and longing and missing him and yearning and angry and all of this emotion. And I can also live in the space that's proud of who he was, honored to have gotten to know him as well as I did. And yeah, I carry him with me all the time, and I still feel happy about where I'm at right now, and I'm thankful that I made the choices that I made after he passed away. And it's such a weird feeling sometimes when this day comes up, because I'm hit with all of it. I'm hit with, wanting him here to experience and to be a part of the things that I do. And I want him to be able to be a part of all the things that, all of us are doing. And it hurts that he's not. And so I think what the way out of here represents for me is a way for me to just share my pain and my vulnerability with the world and hope that it can be mirrored by a few. Now, I know everybody's not going to be in a place to receive the message, and I'm not trying to reach everybody. I'm just trying to reach those that are ready to get out of where they're at, whether they're stuck in the pain or they have new trauma, or it sits in their mind for when the day comes that trauma rears its nasty head in their life. And really, that's what I'm here to try and do. And that's why I put together music. It's how I've gotten through. It's how I really got through his death, was music. Me and my close friends, Gary and Chris Martin, wrote a song 12/27 about his birthday. And we made it 12 minutes and 27 seconds long, and it was extremely ridiculous and emotional, and yet, it was such a long song, and it took so many turns and twists and things, but really it just resembled the pain that we were all in. Like, it was just this outlet, it was just this ability to be vulnerable with each other and acknowledge our pain, not feel guilty for feeling this pain, for feeling this loss and love and, yearning for it to just go away. And, instead of turning from it, we leaned into it, and we put our emotions out in art. And, it wasn't about making this song that was going to change people's lives. It was really about making a song that changed our life. And, I still look at that song as one of the most impactful things I've ever done, because it was just this extremely intense story of just the three of our pain just poured into this song. And that's really what Stop Being a Slave to Fear and the program that I developed around the way out of here is really about. And it's what I did with that song. I just poured my pain into it, and hopefully it reaches people and it connects to people on a deeper level and allows them the freedom and the space to kind of be vulnerable with themselves. And if they choose to share it with the world, then so be it. And if they don't, then, I hope that it reached them at a place where they can, hopefully one day face their own pain and create and put it through whatever medium they choose. A lot of my friends are illustrators and painters and drawers and musicians and, writers. And I've just witnessed how it's all, the one thing we all have in common is that we use it to deal with our emotions. No matter which side of the emotional wheel it's on, whether it's on the negative swing or the positive swing, it's always about dealing with our emotions. And you hear that reverberated throughout time from every artist that's really ever done anything. And yet, to talk about it feels cliche, and yet to experience it feels so real. And so there's just this side of life that I hope that I can express through these video journals and these, these kind of video blogs of this process of putting together this documentary, because this whole documentary project is about being vulnerable. It's about showcasing the vulnerability of this human experience, and how when we break out of our shells and we allow ourselves to feel the emotions, whatever we're feeling, and we share that with the world, the impact that it can have on other people is amazing, and it's intense, and it's overwhelming at times, and sometimes it's grim, and it's not pretty. It's hard to listen to. It's hard to deal with, because it stirs up our own emotions inside, and we're not good at dealing with our emotions for the most part. It's uncomfortable. We do so many things to try and distract us away from dealing with things, and so really what I try to do is just lean in with this project and look at my pain and look at other people's pain and have compassion and try and find a way to reach them at a level to where they can open up and be raw and real with me and with the world, and really with themselves is the most important part. Is that, if they can just acknowledge it within themselves, that's the start. And, so that's why I'm sitting here acknowledging that this day has always been hard, and I know it's hard on a lot of my friends and his family, and, it's a brutal experience to lose somebody so close to you. It never gets easier. I know that I experienced it, when I lost my dad at an early age. And then again, when I lost Crow, it's just such a lasting pain. It's such a transformative experience that you don't get to give permission for. You're never really ready when it happens. And yet, it happens to everyone. I'm not alone in this pain. Everybody has experienced loss before in their life, and I hope I can just be a ripple in time that gets to express itself and its emotion and help others express theirs, because I've come to realize it's really one of the most important things in my life is being able to express and communicate. And when it boils down, really you're only expressing an emotion. You're only expressing an idea, which this idea is about helping and healing. And I wanted to make this video today a little longer and a little bit more in depth, so that so that, I don't know, hopefully I bring him into this project in some way. I know that I wear the St. Christopher that his mom gave me around my neck, all the time. And it helps me feel like he's around, and it helps me feel like he's still here with me. And, the lessons that I learned, not only from his passing, but from our friendship and all the time we got to spend together, and with the groups of friends, and and having good times and having crazy times and bad times and things, and being able to reflect on it after he's gone is a double-edged sword, because it's horrible and it's painful in one breath, and at the same time it's like I wouldn't let that go for anything. I wouldn't get rid of those memories for anything. And it's like, in the Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, it's like I feel that pain. Whoever wrote that movie, I feel the pain that they were trying to express about the questioning of whether or not you would let go of these memories because they haunt you and cause you so much pain. And in the end, it's like I wouldn't at all. And so I just wanted to put together this video about what this project is, and hopefully bring this message into it, is that it's all about vulnerability, and it's at a certain level you have to lead by example. And so I know a lot of my friends, they post a lot of stuff, and I'm so thankful to see that. I'm so thankful to see the expression of emotion that's real and that's raw, and it's not distracted by all of these other outside influences, but it's like the real things that they're feeling, and it's based on real experiences in their life and not, some hypothetical thing that we've been kind of distracted by, but that's the real stuff. It's like the real experiences, and I wish that there was more of it. I wish that, most people, instead of just sharing articles, would share their beliefs and their feelings and their emotions, instead of it just being wrapped up in some parroted version of this kind of dialogue. I want it to be authentic and real, is really what I'm hoping for, and that's why I think that this is the way out. I think it is the way out, is to be vulnerable, is to express yourself and your emotions, and I think that art it's the most fun way that I have found to do it, and if I can turn that pain into some type of fun and positive experience, then I want to share that with everybody else, and hopefully, you guys can get something out of this. So to all my friends, and to to his family, to his mom, Kim, and his sister, Caitlin, if y'all are watching this, I love y'all. And I hope that y'all are doing okay today. I know this is a tough one, and it always is, but I'm always here. And I know it's hard to stay connected through the internet sometimes and feel the emotional connection. And that's another reason that I wanted to put this together, is so that you could see me and see my emotion and see that, this is something that's real for me every year, and, something I carry with me every day. And I'm always here, I haven't gone anywhere, even though I moved about 1,000 miles away. I still, there's a part of me that's still that, that young kid that's sleeping on the floor of your house, Kim, and and hanging out with all of our friends, and there's a part of me that's still there, and yet at the same time, I have to grow up and deal with that and move forward and pull him with us and continue to use his inspiration to inspire others. And I feel that if I can be as vulnerable as I can be, and just show that, instead of, for the longest time, I wrote, if I look back at the years, I think his birthday and this day, I've, for the last, I don't even know how many years, I've written poems and written things, and I just felt like, now is the time to just show the emotion and to, really be able to, be vulnerable in this moment to myself, really, because ultimately this is just about cataloging my own emotion and my own progress and my own process. So, I put it out to the world to hopefully impact somebody. I'm not trying to affect everybody, because there is no one size fits all answer to this thing, but it's just, I hope that, those that are ready to hear the message find it and get something out of it. So again, in closing, I love you guys, and I know this is a hard day, and but remembering him has always made it better for me, so I hope it makes it better for you. Y'all take care.